You can run toward gunfire and still struggle to walk into your own living room.
You can lead under pressure and not know how to talk to your family.
We've lived that tension.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a retired Army veteran, a law enforcement chaplain, a mental health professional, an assistant team leader in a hostage and crisis negotiation team, a husband, and most importantly, a father.
And I'm Sara. I'm the wife and mom who holds the line at home.
We've seen what trauma does, what silence costs, and what faith can rebuild.
We're here to talk to you about the part that nobody trains you for.
Welcome to After the Call.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to After the Call. Hey, we have a very, very special episode for you today. We actually have two special guests with us to dive in and talk about their calls, how trauma's affected them, and whatnot. Awesome time. It is Memorial Day. We apologize for last week not getting out. Yes, as you can see, my beautiful wife, Sara, is not with me. She's back in town, though. So she will be back next week to join me. But this week, you get me, you get George The Zamm and Justin Price, two investigators with the County Sheriff's Office. They're going to jump in and kind of talk a little bit about some of their calls, some of the things that they've seen, some of the things they've done. And it's a great, great time. It's going to be a longer episode. I got to forewarn you. It's going to be a longer episode, but be well worth it in the end. But let's dive into it. Here's After the Call. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to After the Call. We have a special guest today. Justin is here. George will join us down the road. But yeah, we just wanted to have a conversation. Happy Memorial Day. Today's the day we remember our fallen brothers and sisters as the ones that paid the ultimate sacrifice. So, yeah. So we're having fun talking about your worst call.
I don't know how much fun we're gonna have, but looking.
So give us a little background on yourself.
First off, I'm a husband of 17 years. Been married to Julie. She's absolutely my saving grace. The reason I'm still here. Got three awesome kids. Jet, he's 16. Jace, he's 12, and then of course my little feral one, Jensen. He's yeah.
See, I thought you were gonna say Jace was the feral one.
I mean, I guess that's who you really talk to. But, I mean, they're all feral, obviously, but yeah, that one probably.
It's just because he likes baseball.
Yeah, he does. Unfortunately,
that kid is gonna be playing Major League Baseball someday. As long as he keeps liking it.
I hope so.
That's the key.
That is the key. He definitely loves baseball. He absolutely loves his brother Jace, so I got to give it to him too.
Yeah,
big kid too. But, yeah, Jensen's got a different level of it. I was never like that. He was like that when he was little. Obviously, Jace is 12 now, so he's kind of moved out of that. But yeah, man, he loves the game. That's all he wants to play. That's actually where he's at right now. He's actually the softball field with Jace and his friend playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what time is it?
It's
1:30.
1:30
Monday. We're not inside. He's outside playing baseball. So.
Yeah. We drove by there earlier, and there was like 10 kids out there.
Was it really?
Yeah, and they were all throwing the ball and hitting. So yeah, I'm sure they're going to have a game.
He doesn't want to do baseball. So.
It was funny watching him as he played coach pitch this year. He is like intense. Like if he don't hit a home run or he don't hit to the outfield, he's mad.
Man, he's been that. Well, of course, it all comes back to Jace, unfortunately. And not that Jace is bad. Yeah, no, feral Jace is too. Jensen has been at a baseball game since he was so. The competitiveness has absolutely gotten worse as he's gotten out there. So hopefully he can curb some of that attitude when he gets older. And it actually counts. Right now, Humsey loves the game. So.
And you've been a cop for a while.
Yeah, man.
You started in Victoria, Texas.
Yeah, I started out as a jailer. That was probably the best thing I ever did was start out in jail. Started out in 2016 as a jailer, worked my way up. Did everything that nobody else wanted to do. That was the difference between me and a lot of other guys. if it was hard, I was going to go do it. I got chosen to go to the police academy, which was my ultimate goal. I went to the police academy in 2018.
Okay.
And then after I graduated, I shortened the street. So I stayed down there until I think we left Victoria in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. It was 2020. Been a cop for a little bit,
You've been up here for almost 6 years.
6 years.
You, in that time, have held multiple positions.
Yeah.
You've been a patrolman, corporal, worked at the city attorney's office or the county attorney's office, left that, went back to the street as a corporal,
Yep.
then said, hey, you know what? I'll go to CID. And now you're an investigator,
Right.
and your nickname is Caseload.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm carrying the biggest caseload currently right now. So,
But you also just moved over.
I did. We're within a couple days of each other. So hopefully, as the time goes on, I can whittle that down and get down to the nitty gritty and keep it low. But being in CID, you're never going to have a small caseload. That's not.
No.
So, and that's okay. It keeps me good. It gives me something to do every day.
And in that, your time on the street, you were an FTO.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you as an FTO.
FTO was it's like a rite of passage in a way. You stay in the game long enough, you start wanting to produce good people. That was kind of what drew me to it. That's what I wanted to do. Make good cops because nobody was a crap cop, obviously.
Right.
I had a couple of them. It's definitely an acquired taste. Not everybody can do FTO. Not everybody has that patience to do it. I learned a lot as a cop being an FTO, so I'm glad that I did it. It was quite an experience.
So let's go back 24 months.
Yeah.
Almost 24 months now.
2 years, June 24th. So June 24th, obviously, everybody that doesn't know me, I was involved in an officer-involved shooting. At that time, I was an FTO. I got a disturbance call. It was early in the morning. I believe it was like 8. On the way out there, the notes on the call were really, really sporadic and kind of weird. Son was going out of control. Mom was calling the cops. I remember one of the notes, and it stuck out in my mind really, really, really. Like it told me, I remember that. It was saying that he was throwing glass out the RV door. And at the time, I was like, man, like, been to 1,000 of these, whatever,
Yeah.
So driving on the road, talking to my trainee at the time, just hey, be safe, that kind of thing. And as my computer's updating, I'm getting one of those feelings like, hey, man, this is probably going to be a lot. This is not going to be just one of those easy calls. Something's going to happen, like whatever. As soon as I put it in park and I get there, that feeling really hits me. Over to the person I'm training, I'm like, hey, be careful. I just knew something was going to happen.
Right.
So I shut the door, kind of walk up to the RV, make contact with the suspect. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? He comes out, puts his hands up, and he's speaking some stuff that I really don't know. I can't really tell what he was saying.
Are you speaking gibberish?
Yeah. Video shows that it was obviously gibberish. He was obviously in a very, I wouldn't say an altered state, but he was in a hyper state.
Yeah.
It's definitely not there. I asked a question like, hey, man, what's going on today? And I remember him saying, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir. And then he turns around and walks back into the RV. So at the time, I look over, I'm like, hey, get behind me. I kind of get off the X a little bit, and I stay towards the tongue of the trailer. I pulled my taser, and I was calling out to him, hey, man, come talk to me. Hey, bud, where you at? Hey, bud, where you at? I think it was about the third time I said, hey, bud, where you at? He jumps out, says, hey, right here. And he shoots at me from 3 to 5 feet.
With what looked to be, snub nose 38?
Yeah, it was a little snub nose.
Yeah.
Shoots at me 5 times. I get off the X, kind of run behind the son of the trailer behind it. I pull my weapon, move back towards cover. As I'm going back, I fire one round. That was my first shot. Get behind the actual patrol unit. Kind of checking myself because I don't know if I got shot or what. Like I'm watch the video. Obviously, don't have a radio.
Yeah.
So
Well, your radio was dangling behind you.
The radio was like going crazy. So I didn't have any comms at that time, which is not good. Yeah. So I'm like checking myself, whatever. The guy that comes to back me up, he pulls up, and we kind of back out towards his truck, or towards his patrol. He gets out, racks his rifle, or he gets his rifle ready to go. He's like, "What happened?" I know he shot at me. So we're kind of stacked up behind him, and I can't see at this time. So I'm absolutely, that drives me nuts. So I go to the other side, and I'm on the other driver's side. He's on the passenger side. Kind of move up to where my car's at. Suspect is walking in and out of the RV like 3 or 4 times, man. Like, and he's putting his hands up, down, hands up, down, hands up, down. You can tell that he's not in a great state. He's not listening to commands, nothing. He walks probably, I'd say, 35 yards from over to it was a, like, if I remember, it was a kind of a bronze color F-250.
Yeah.
It was a power stroke diesel. It was a really good truck.
Well, he had thrown out the pistol.
Yeah. As soon
He
as
tossed out the
he
pistol
tossed it.
after he had come around, like watching your video and stuff. As he comes around the vehicle, he's in perfect shooting position and he's squeezing the trigger and it's just not going off. He only fired 5 rounds, but I think he only had 5 rounds in it because he's coming around and he's in perfect textbook.
He's in hunt mode.
Yeah, he's in hunting mode. He's in perfect shooting position, and thank God he didn't have any rounds left.
Definitely got it.
Yeah.
So we go to move up, and he's going in and out. He's acting like he's wanting us to shoot him at this time. He's trying to get me to kill him. So he goes to the door, flings it open, gets in, gets back out, gets in, gets back out, and I'm giving verbal commands. Show me your hands, don't move. Show me your hands, show me your hands, don't do it, don't do it. Like, I'm as loud as I can. I remember it. I remember like my speech and my vocalization was very, very slurred up.
Yeah.
That part of me was slowed down. Everything else was full speed. And the very last time he got in that truck, his body was different to where I was at. He reaches over. And as he reaches over and he comes back, I see the blood right out of the truck. And then on the video, as I have my hand with my gun and we're downrange with it, I say, "Yup." As soon as I say "yup," I squeeze that first round off. And my partner did too. Ultimately, dropping him. I don't remember. I think it was 35 yards, maybe ish, maybe a little more.
Somewhere in there. With a pistol. Red dot.
Yeah, for sure. My old eyes were very big. Iron sights,
Yeah.
So we converged together. Methodically move up there as slow and fast as we can. And I'm still, obviously, this is my first shooting. I'm like, "Hey, don't move. Hey, don't move." But at that point, like, looking at it now, he's dead, right? Like,
yeah.
But in that moment, I'm trying to tell him, like, "Don't move, don't move," because at this point, his body's
don't
still
know.
twitching.
Yeah.
He's still doing some crazy stuff. So we get up to him, and I holster my weapon. Other guys still got lethal cover. I put his rifle down. I grab the rifle. I turn and tell him, "Hey, start moving." I start trying to save him. So I run back, put the rifle in my patrol unit. I come back, put gloves on, drag him over, and we got holes everywhere.
Yeah.
We got holes anywhere and everywhere. At that point, it wasn't. I could start stuffing holes, but it wasn't. There's so much going on.
But you started life-saving measures to try. And I think you guys put 2 tourniquets on.
Ended up tourniqueting one side of him. The other side was just blown out. One whole lot I could do there. Started CPR. Did CPR probably 3 or 4 times. Take turns. And then, once the cavalry started showing up, everybody started coming, right? Um, Units finally got there. I think that's when the finally hit. It was kind of tough all over the time. I just remember standing up, taking my gloves off, and just saying the F word as loud as I could. You dream about doing the right things because of your training. Can I respond to it? And can I do everything that I'm supposed to do? At that very moment, I did. And that's a lot to go through. It's a lot to process. I know guys that have been in law enforcement for a long time and never pulled a gun and had to actually pull it out several times showing force.
Yeah.
And they comply. But there's a very select few that have actually still get good to tell about it or
right.
Didn't trouble. Yeah, that was a pretty heavy day.
And you are sitting here 100% by God's
absolutely,
grace,
man.
because those rounds were the 5 rounds that the guy fired at you were maybe an inch above your head.
Yeah. Slowing the video down and looking at it, if my positioning would have been that much to the left, I would not be here talking.
Yeah.
It was a God thing, man. I mean, you could slow it down and actually see when bullets fly by me. You can see when the dirt kicks up. And I'm thankful that the person that I was training actually listened, was behind me and didn't stand out where he could shoot that other person.
Yeah.
Thankful that person's still alive.
Yep.
It was a lot, man.
Yeah. So you go through that, you move back to the vehicles, you return fire, which is what you're trained to do. Start medical, all that stuff. And then, like you said, the adrenaline drops. And now it's all the other crap that's going to happen where the scene's taped off, your weapon's taken, your name comes on a indictment.
Yeah, that a lot of guys they have never really seen that part of it. But I think the one part that really bothered me most while on scene was, obviously we do a walk, right? And it's not that he's trying to trick you or get you in a spot or any of that stuff. He's wanting to go through it, right? He's wanting to see, is my evidence matching up with what this guy's telling me?
Yeah.
So you're standing there and you walk through it, and you finally get to a point where there's a lull, right? And you're just kind of standing there. And he finally walks up to you and he's like, all right, man, I got to start taking pictures of you.
Yep.
Legitimately line up like you just got arrested. And you're standing about face, you take your picture, you turn to the other side, or behind you, next side, take pictures of your hands. And I mean, you have to remember at this point, like I'm covered in blood. So like I've still got this man's blood on.
Yeah.
Even if I just had gloves on, I had blood from the bottom sides of my wrist all the way to my elbows. I'm still standing. He's taking a picture. And he's writing stuff down and all that other stuff. The part that really I'm getting to that kind of bothers me the most is, all right, man, go give me your gun. Yeah. That's the hard part. I just use that. I know that works. I don't jerk fixing it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's
our
that
agency.
hits you.
Our agency, unlike some agencies, we have weapons that we give. They may not be very good, They are Glocks, but
yeah,
they do. Here's a weapon for you to carry.
I took my SIG.
Yeah.
Everybody's probably hate SIG P320.
I carry one too, so
I've got a bunch of SIGs, and that's what I had that day. That's what I used.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that bothered me a lot. They took my gun. I'd never fired before, never handled that. That hurt you. It hurt me.
And they had you rack off your rounds.
Yeah, man.
Get a count.
Yep, got to get a count. Hey, how many rounds you got? Max. Like, oh man, 2, 3. All that goes. So.
And you were also the first shooting we'd had since 2013. So we had gone almost 11 years, 12 years since the shooting, and we hadn't updated the shooting policy. We
No.
hadn't done,
No. Not
you
at
know,
all.
they didn't have a counselor on staff. They didn't have somebody
No.
to call.
No.
It wasn't.
No, not at all. It was a very, it was a learning moment.
Yeah.
For our agency. And, we absolutely had to change some things. We absolutely had to put things in place to protect the guys that have done that style, at least say that style, have been involved in that incident.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not something to brag about. It is, I'm glad that it happened. Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad the guys behind me get to have a little bit of help.
I know you hate talking about it, but you did get a Medal of Valor for the shooting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
which
I
was
did.
well deserved.
Yeah, I did. At first, I was I was against it.
Well, you and I have had numerous conversations. About
Yeah, we have, right? Like I was against it. But at the end of the day, man, that wasn't right. That was for my family. I think that's why I was, after I got it, not that I wasn't appreciative of it, because I was, but to me that day I was just doing my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing that I look at now, but that's for my wife and my kids.
Yeah.
I know what I did that day. They don't.
Right.
They know a little bit. Try to keep a lot of that stuff quiet, obviously. But yeah, man, that was for them. And when I look at it like that, but I will tell you that Medal of Valor, that's in a lockbox at the bottom of my heart, because that does not define me.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm a husband and father. That's what I was.
Right. So, how did your family handle it?
Man,
Because your wife really didn't know. Because, part of the learning process was, hey, here's my cell phone, call your wife and let her know you're okay.
right.
Which we didn't do before.
Right.
At your scene, we didn't do till we got back to the station.
So, on scene while I'm in between, talking to a ranger, talking to my lawyer, standing there sweating because it's,
it was hot.
It was so hot, man. Golly, it was hot.
And there was this big ravine across the street.
Big ravine, and it was horrible. So, I'm texting her like, hey, I'm okay, but I'll survive shooting. She's like, you? I'm like, yes. And then I was like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Bad guys, well, as we go on, she's like, come to the scene. I was like, absolutely not. You do not come to see the station.
Yeah.
So she goes to our office and she sits in the front, parking lot. And I still don't think she really understood it. I don't think she really knew. And I finally got back to the office. The first thing I wanted to do was get out of it. I didn't have nothing to do. I was in full battle round. Everything I had on. That was taken off. I left in black pair of pants, t-shirt. I think whenever I finally saw her, I think she knew something happened, but I don't think she really understood, right? Because I can't show videos, right?
Yep.
And I can only tell her, hey, I got shot at. I killed some dude. And to really back up and kind of give the context of how she was kind of clueless, is I always try to keep, what I did on the street outside my front door. I always tried to, once I got off duty, I always tried to take the absolute, hey, I'm a cop at my front door. I'll walk in. And I tried to do a really good job of that. and I kept a lot of things that I had done on the street away from her. Not like I was doing something wrong, but like, hey, I responded to, this is what happened. I pulled my gun out, and then all of a sudden, I took this dude down. Like, just stuff that us as cops don't think it's a big deal.
Right.
But to your wife, I go, holy crap, like, you really did that? Like, you're doing that? Yeah, that's what we do. It's our job, So I always tried to keep that. I try to keep that separate.
Yeah.
Along the lines, I learned, the more that you can communicate with your wife, let her know why you hurt, what your problem is, let her off your feet.
Yeah.
And that's, I think this is kind of why it all started, is because she was kind of left in the dark about things.
Yeah.
And, there's things that at first that I don't think she really knew how to respond to. She could tell I was hurt.
Yeah.
She didn't really know that day, right? Like, she didn't know exactly what happened. So, every day was a new day with us.
We'll get to those other days.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of it.
Yeah,
I know you're trying to skip over it.
no, I don't. We can move over. It's fine. But yeah, man.
So you left the station, went back home. I don't want to say the worst part of it, but it was also your son's birthday. And that kind of,
yeah,
we talked about it on scene, and then you and I talked about it later that night.
Yeah.
When you stopped returning calls and stopped answering stuff.
Yeah, man.
Then all of a sudden, something you never thought was going to happen happened.
Yeah, everybody was in my house. Oh my god. Yeah, man. I just didn't. You get in this little headspace of yourself. You just, I don't know. You try to block it out. And that day was not happening. It was Jensen's birthday. I just got an officer involved shooting.
Yep.
I just wanted to be with my family, and I love everybody that had stopped by that night. Like, how many people I have in my house that night?
Your dad,
my dad, my mom.
Well, let's talk about, before we keep going. Your dad had been involved in an officer involved shooting too.
Yes.
And had a completely different outcome than you had, where his agency, which will rename nameless, left him out to dry.
Yes. My dad was involved in an officer involved shooting. I was young.
You were like Jason's age, weren't you?
Jason's age.
10.
I think it was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
I could be wrong with that. Yeah. Dad got an officer involved shooting. And back in those days, it was like, you signed up for that.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to hurt. You're not allowed to, be affected by anything.
Right.
You're not allowed to have a feeling. You're not allowed to be, to be woes me. It's really hurts. And you can't do that. And that was a law enforcement that I had grown up in, because I spent my whole life in the police department.
Yeah.
Right. Like, from a little kid to, till a teenage, till he finally stopped and walked away from me.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, those guys were our heroes. Like, those guys were the guys we looked up to, because they were all tough. They were all ready to go. Like, they were very square away. All of them were very square away. But they all had.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. And my generation and that generation is with me, absolutely. That's not. If you hurt, you hurt.
Yeah.
And this is all learned.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is all learned from me going through this, because before my shooting, I was not that guy. I was not the guy that was going to sit down and tell you, hey, man, that really bothered me seeing a kid die.
Yeah.
Or, hey, man, that really bothered me. I had to go give CPR to somebody that was obviously older and she was dying anyway, but that really bothered me.
Yeah.
Right? Before, I was very robotic. But yeah, that era of cop, they were rough, they were tough, they were, those are the guys that we looked up to.
Yeah.
That year that he got into a shooting, they were very, very rough. He didn't have nearly the support that I did.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, he said that to me that night.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't believe you guys all showed up. Yeah, we're going to be here tonight.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, man, if my dad had that, I think he'd be a lot better up.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying Dad's in a bad spot because it's, you know, it's been a long time and he's doing great for himself.
Yeah.
And he's got a great career and he's happy, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Right?
But it would have been different.
Yeah, and I think
Psychologically
Yeah,
wise, it would have been
absolutely.
completely
You
different.
know, I mean, he would suffer from PTSD. He still has his moments.
Right.
That era was not
No.
like it is at all.
Uh-uh.
It's not. It was very down to the point. You're expected to be a robot. You're expected not to feel. I thought that's how you're supposed to be. Because that's what I saw for probably a lot of years.
And then you get involved in your shooting and
Yeah.
you're getting text messages from
Yeah.
the chaplain going, "Hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing?"
And it wasn't. You know, of course, we talked about this.
Yeah.
You know, that's not personal.
No.
None of that.
No. And I didn't take this personal.
No,
But in a roundabout, I knew what was happening. I knew where your mindset is because I've been in that mindset of, okay, hey, I just need to get eyes on him, make sure he's in a good place. You know, and we all know that the chances of polishing one off that night is a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
And because, you know, you start with one and then it becomes two and then it becomes three.
Yeah, man. I drink a lot that night.
Yeah. And
Probably
you were
more.
hurt too.
Oh, dude. I had drank more than I probably ever have.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many beers I had. It doesn't matter. I just remember my wife put me in the absolute shower. I was taking a shower, and I got out, and I had shorts on. I remember that. And walking out the bathroom downstairs because we lived in a different house at that time. And, walked out the shower, and I remember looking at the recliner, and I'm like, "That's a pretty good spot," and I just gone. I was out. Yeah. So that next morning, the way that little house was laid out, had so many windows in the front. Right?
Uh-huh.
And as soon as that sun came up, it was like right in the old face. And oh my God, yeah. I woke up that next morning and I felt like I got rid of my back truck.
Uh-huh. You look like you got back.
Oh, dude. God, did I? Yeah, that next. Yeah, 'cause I think I had to come in that next morning.
You did?
I was hungover.
Yeah.
Hungover.
But we, you know, one thing that we've always done is we dove in and we started working it, you know,
Sure.
did what we had to do. But, you know, for you, you were in a different place than your dad was.
Yeah.
And you had family around you. Then you had your extended family, you know, because at the end of the day, the culture we've tried to create is a family. It's a dysfunctional ass family.
Oh, yeah. It's just dysfunctional. Yeah, it's family. Absolutely.
It's
absolutely
it's family that you're
100%.
like, I wouldn't want that person really, but
No.
they are.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I would say that it helped me a lot. Right. Yeah, if I had to go through that alone, I think it would be different.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I was thinking, and if I didn't have so much people around me at the time, it could have been really.
Yeah.
But dove into it, got to the problems. And hey,
It took some time to get there, though.
yeah,
It took, you know, and the thing that with trauma is there's no set, hey, in a week you should be over this, or in 6 months you should be over this. There isn't any. And, you know, you were at the longer part of that because we had so much stuff we had to go through to get to. You know, we weren't just dealing with your shooting, but we were dealing with the stigmatism of your dad's, of you don't ask for help, you don't do that. So we had to get rid of that silent culture without even realizing we were getting rid of that silent culture.
yeah, I didn't know it was in the way,
Right.
And you know, you get into law enforcement and you're like, oh, that's not that's not.
Yeah. We've had
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
We had a guy that no longer works for our agency sit there and say, "Oh, it wouldn't bother me." Okay, dude.
Yeah, that was anyway. But yeah, man, you don't think that's going to be an issue until that happens to you,
Mhm.
and then you see that years prior to all you doing this, you see that this is the way you're supposed to be, right? And diving into it and actually like figuring out that that's a real problem.
Yeah,
it's like, oh wow, that's left field.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Whatever, it's always a work in progress.
and then we went. As time went on, what 6 months after your shooting, we went down to Bandero and
Yeah, man, that was a good time for me. We spent what was it, a week?
Yeah.
Spent a week down there. There was nothing but just diving into what grounds you, what can keep you grounded, and to actually how to deal with that feeling. Like, I'm to the point now where if something is getting to that, like, it's like, oh wow, this is fixing something. Like, I have things that I do
Yep.
that helps me release that. And my wife's a big part of it too. She knows. She
Yeah.
can tell. Like, she's like, hey, yeah, talk about it later. We get it out of the way. It's fine. But she can start to see it too. But I've got a hold of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't have a hold of it at all.
well, no, we also sat around with 10 other guys. Myself and another therapist. Him having no law enforcement background at all.
Yeah. Really good
Just-
dude. Really, really good.
Hunter's a great dude, but he is, very clinical, very outdoor,
Yes.
inclined. So he was sitting around with a bunch of cops and breaking down, okay, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And we heard, a variety of things. We, heard one guy that after his shooting, he went and messed around with a Waffle House waitress, which I wouldn't recommend. But, hey, if that's what floats your boat, then
Yeah. Yeah, that day, that week was very, it's very sobering in a way. It was good to see. It sounds bad, but it was good to see that many guys open up, have a trauma,
Yeah.
and leave it in one spot, and not have any kind of like, or my trauma is worse than your trauma type thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm tougher than you type scenario. Yeah, dudes in there were talking about stuff that were very personal to them. And
Yeah.
that we were all complete strangers.
Yeah.
And we all left it there. Like,
Yeah.
that was a beginning to a healing for those guys. And that was the greatest part about it. That was a very, very good time. I was very hesitant to go, obviously. I didn't want to do it. But I think at the end of the day, I think that helped out. I thought it, looking back at it, that was an absolute great thing to do.
And that's, in all honesty, that's where, after the call started was from that. And Hunter and I going, okay, hey, we got to revamp this a little bit more. Your class, we had binders.
Yeah.
The class we did in Lubbock for those guys that had just been involved in the shooting was completely different. It was an actual book to where we are now, where we have multiple books that we're like, okay, hey, we have this, and this, to be able to do that. Or it's going to sing to the podcast. Yeah. But, to be able to look at it and go, okay, hey, what specific thing within the trauma do we need to lock onto? And when it comes to pulling the trigger, that speaks its own trauma. Because you can't pull back. We talked about it. You see the vapor trail.
Yeah.
Most people know exactly, hey, I hit center mass. I hit low and to the left. I hit low and to the right. Because it slows down to that pace and you see it. And if you're wrong, you can't pull it back. It goes and, you do what you have to do and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, we're really good at training about being top, obviously. We're really good at training for the trigger.
Yep.
tactics and stuff. We don't prepare for after you pull a trigger.
Nope.
It takes a special person to say, hey, like I need help. I need help. This isn't good.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot for a guy to say that, especially coming from
Yeah.
talked about earlier. It's kind of taboo.
It's 100% taboo.
It's a thing. Like, it's just, yeah, I struggle with that too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to do better about, after that trigger squeezed, because that's when the real work actually begins. That's, for me, that's when it wasn't. Yeah, it was a traumatic day.
Yeah.
It was a bad day at work. But dealing with just the everydays doing that day. Yeah, if I didn't have people around me, I wouldn't be as far. And I'm not that far, obviously, but
You're pretty far down the road
yeah.
now.
I mean, we're 2 years out, but I still try to get better every day. There's still things I got to get better at as far as relationships with my family, my friends. There's always something you.
Being a Ranger fan.
I don't want to get into it with you on the podcast, John. Because we know that we do not like pinstraps at my house. So,
Except, didn't your son have to wear pinstripes this season?
no, actually, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
Well, are you talking about Jensen or Jace?
Jensen.
Yeah, he pinstripes.
Yeah.
I let it slide. But you know that I don't.
I'm gonna laugh the year he's playing ball and gets drafted on the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, John.
And you never know.
I don't think it's gonna
He was on the Athletics, so we're in the American League here.
Well-
So
I mean, I'll take him being athletics versus the Yankees.
we ain't talking about Moneyball.
I didn't like that he was fast.
He was the MVP of that team. So
He did really good. Get credit.
Yeah.
And he keeps having fun. That's all that matters.
so he's your. I know you call him your Pharaoh kid, but your kids are definitely your.
Oh yeah, and that's part of the reason I'm still here.
Yeah.
They're good kids. And they make me happy. They're good too. Yeah, that's why I do what I do.
So one thing, you have to work a lot of off duties to pay for travel ball.
Yeah, I work a lot of off duties. I do. I stay hooked up. In between working security to have my bounce house business.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Code 4.
Code 4 bounce houses started on a whim. I always talk about I still struggle with stuff. Obviously, I'm not some fixed guy, but I woke up one morning, probably due to the politics of this county. I got 12 years left till I could retire, and I woke up and wanted to absolutely have a way out of this if I needed it.
Uh-huh.
I woke up one morning, talked to Mama, and was like, "Hey, I know this is going to stretch us thin. I know this is probably going to be really, really hard on you both. But I want to do this." It was left field. It was not like I planned it. It wasn't like I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, maybe not. It was, I woke up, was like, I've got to make a change.
Yep.
I've got to have something for the future. I've got to build something. And Code 4 bounce house is kind of manifested. I was in between the process of getting a DBA, getting an account set up, and trying to get product lines lined up and all this other stuff. And I was like, what am I going to call it? Like, whatever. And so, I kicked a couple things around, asked the boys, like, what would be a cool name? If there was Jed or Jace or I don't know. And I want to say he said something like what is 10-4 mean? It's okay. He goes, what about code 4? And I was like, that's actually pretty cool, man. He's like, yeah, it's okay bounce houses. I was like, yeah, let's go with that. So that's how code 4 came about. Obviously, I got on my little AI thing and started, messing around there, and came up with that little thing you see on Facebook now. It's code 4 bounce houses.
And you have a website.
The website, it's currently being worked on. I just got connected with, it's pretty much an event software, so I'm trying to get both of those linked up. It's been kind of hard. I've got a lull where I have to wait 48 hours for the to kind of sync up. So now you can absolutely, once I get this published and back on, you can go to the actual website, pick which one you want, pay for it right there online, shoots me an email. I call you and say, hey, I'll get some of the other ironed out details, and I can just respond to your actual house instead of, hey, instead of you having to call or text, message, just made it better us talking to each other. So once I get that online, man, that'd be great. I think it'll be turn thing around. We've been busy, but obviously we've got some weekend between dropping a bounce house off and going and watching baseball and driving all the way back. We've been pretty busy, so
Yeah.
We're excited about it.
Well, we'll drop the link at the
Thanks. Shit.
the description, and we'll put it up on the video for all of our people that watch it on YouTube and whatnot. So, which is Sarah's favorite part is the YouTube part.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it is.
But she hates that part.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
So what do you think the future? One thing we haven't talked about is we had to wait a long time to do your debrief. We did the initial debrief, but we didn't show the video, unlike the other ones where we, 96 hours, had the debrief, showed the video, whatnot. Yours, we had to wait a little while because there were some things that happened where, weren't in your control. They weren't in my control. They were, the sheriff said, hey, I want to hold off on these, showing the videos and whatnot. But, yeah. So, how was it the first time you got to watch it and see?
I was right back. Yeah. Cold sweats, obviously. Heart racing. That same feeling that I had on the scene is exactly what I was watching. But, yeah, like you don't prepare yourself for that, right? Like that you went through that. Like you did that. So, once I watched the video, some of the things that obviously when you go through a traumatic experience, your mind blocks out a lot of things.
Yeah.
I can remember actually being on scene and being shot at, and then just remember hitting the ground, right? When I watched the video, it shows me backing off the X and falling to the ground.
Yeah.
I didn't remember. All I remember was hearing a shot and then diving off.
I don't think you fell.
I tried not to.
I think 100% you were pushed down by an angel.
Yeah, I had to be. I mean, the force that rocked me to the right was, I don't think I had much leg about it. So,
No, I don't think so. Watching your video.
Yeah, watching the video, it was definitely like I got, pushed topside and just.
Yeah.
But, at the end of it, man, it was. The more I watched the video, the more that it would fill in for me.
Yes.
Which was a good thing because, after shootings, you sit there and you say, hey, did I do that? Like, is that what I did? But your brain sits there and it just points out a lot of that stuff. It's just traumatic. It helps you quickly. So just getting to watch it, there was a lot of tears in it. There was a lot of crying. I think it was that close.
Yeah.
Like you got shot at, and that you're looking at there's the door of the RV, and then you hear bang, and then you're on the ground. When you watch it, you're like, "How are you not dead?
Yeah.
Like, why are you still here?" So filling that part in was, I can't tell you. Watched it. Probably close to, let's say 75 times. And
How was it?
New stuff.
And you probably will. how are you, for a lot of people that don't know, in Texas, when you're involved in an officer involved shooting, your name comes on the night.
Right.
How was that? Because we hadn't talked about it.
Um, it's another weird feeling. I wholeheartedly didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Like I did nothing wrong.
Right. But it's still a little scary seeing your name on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Rangers takes your case, goes it, presents it in grand jury, and you have people that are picked for that grand jury
Who some of them don't like the sheriff's office as it is.
don't like you. Some
Yeah.
of them don't like what you do.
Yeah.
And your life is in the balance of saying yes or no.
Yeah.
At that time, I was reassigned to the courthouse for security. They were short somebody, and they asked me to go down there. It was an 8 to 5 gig.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, I was going stir crazy doing the stuff that I was doing around the office. So I was like, sure. So, the day that they met for grand jury, I was in Shrek. But my post that day was up front. As you come in, you dump all your stuff in the little bill and they scan it. That's what I was at. That day, I just told the lieutenant that was in charge, like, hey, man, I'm not today. And he sent me to the back room, which was back inside the courthouse. I had to sit in there. So I did some stuff on Tico and just try to get my mind pushed away from it.
Right.
So you work in 8 to 5 that day. Well, they do grand jury. They don't tell you till after 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
sometimes it goes longer.
Sometimes it goes longer. So I waited. It felt like forever. I didn't eat that day. Super, super nervous. Like felt like I was going to throw up. Felt like I was mad. I was sad. There was all kinds of emotions.
Yeah.
And knowing wholeheartedly I had nothing.
Right.
But your mind does a lot to you.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Mine's our greatest trickster.
Yeah. And so when I had a certain person walk up to me and say, hey, you're good. I was like, hey. But yeah, it's a weird emotion. It's you're sad, you're happy, mad, and you're like, well, what if this person, he doesn't understand what he's looking at?
Well, because we've had friends, that work for like DPS that, they were indicted, and all because the district attorney in the county they worked in wasn't very good. And did a horrible job presenting the case, and the grand jury came back with indictment. That was 2 years of his life that,
I'm glad it's over. I'll say that. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Not at all.
How do you like now? You've transitioned, since the shooting to the county attorney's office, back to the street, now back to CID, which is our criminal investigation division. Those that don't know. How does that feel? Because you went from nights to days.
It's bittersweet.
Nights to day. Yeah, nights to day.
So I was on patrol as a nighttime corporal, and I went to days as a daytime corporal.
And switched shifts twice.
Yeah, switched, and then so I got moved up to CID. I like it, man. Just having a normal life.
Yeah.
CIDs work 10-hour days. I can concentrate on one thing. I like it. The major thing for me is the reason I wanted to go to CID at the sheriff's office. Obviously, it's hard to run a business and be on a patrol schedule, working every other weekend, working. Just because you're scheduled 12 hours doesn't mean you get to work 12 hours. It normally runs over. I'm a corporal, so that means I'm checking, reports and staying late. By the time I get home, then I've got to do bounce house stuff. I've got to, all that other stuff. So, and just having family quality time. Not that I couldn't do patrol, because I could, but my schedule, being able to just have a better home life, attractive.
Yeah.
Stay on the street. I feel like, at this time in my life, I don't have to prove anything to myself.
Yeah.
I think that was. I think we talked about this. We probably have. I think part of the reason why I wanted to go back to the street from the county attorney's office back to the street because I felt like I had to prove myself.
Oh, we've talked about it.
And I felt like I had to prove that I could lead in.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was called to do for a short time. And my priorities kind of shifted. I just want to take care of it. That's my wife, my 3 kids. Just a good life. Not that me being in CID, I'm not still protecting certain people. I am.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it different. And,
Yeah.
I think that was a big turn. I really appreciate getting over there. Excited about it. It's definitely brain power
You don't have to wear a uniform anymore.
and slacks and nice shirt or 511 pants and a
Yeah.
collared shirt. I'm doing that. So it's a good change. It's good.
Yeah.
It'll be good for my family. And it's all good.
Be good.
If I can get the case.
You will. And you got a take home car out of it.
That's awesome.
You know, even though it's a Traverse.
It's actually nice.
Is it?
Or,
Yeah. Unlike some of us have to go to the station to pick up their car
yeah.
to go.
Yeah, I get to say. So that's a good thing. That's
Yeah.
been pretty lucky.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with, everything that's happened. You kind of blazed the trail to our new shooting policy, our new, mental health stuff that we've come through, and you have kind of set the tone to help other officers come through. Where 13 months after your shooting, we had another shooting,
Yeah.
and that was automatically, hey, you guys got to go see John. You got to do this. It's got to go, which creates more business for us. But in the end, at the end of the day, it's, are you guys good? Are you able to go back to transition to the streets and be able to do jobs?
I'm just thankful that we had an agency that saw that we needed some things to that never does adjust it.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between guys in Texas and guys in spots. Is some of the Texas agencies are not here that about staying connected with who they have. Right?
Yeah.
Saying, hey, we actually have a problem. Let's try to fix this.
Yeah.
As far as the second group of guys at the time, heart goes out to them. Love them. They're all good dudes. But
Yeah. Well, and then, the third one right after that.
Yeah.
Well, a few months after that.
Yeah.
That was completely
that's a
different.
completely different ballgame.
Yeah, that was completely different, where that wasn't close range.
No.
That was,
And all 3 shootings are all different. Right?
Yeah. none of them were ever the same.
No, none of them are ever the same. But, I mean, at least the other 2 got to have some type of format. Hey, this is what we are going to do because we have to do this.
Yeah.
And
talking with, other agencies from around the country, they didn't have that. Like, for example, the entire Texas college police department has taken our shooting protocol and is now adopted as theirs. They tweaked a couple of things, but
sure,
where they have to go to mental health. They have to do a debrief within 96 hours. They have to go see a counselor. They have to do certain things. The counselor has to be present on the range when they go to shoot the first time. People,
it's a big thing, man.
people don't realize how much, the psychological effects happen when you pull that trigger for the first time after a shoot.
Yeah, it was very. I can remember after mine. I think it was. I was in June.
It's like September.
I think it was September. I think so. I think it was September. you know, you get the email like, hey, we've got qualifications on this day, blah, 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 whatever. You're going to go show up, shoes are wrong, dude. It's not going to be okay. It was something that, without, I don't, you know, and I get there and I get on the line. I'm left-handed, obviously, right?
Ass backwards. Yep.
I'm ass backwards and everybody else. Shoot my pistol left-handed, I shoot run my rifle right. So
Just goes to show screwed up you are.
yeah, easy for transitions though. But it all works out. You know, so you're standing on the line and you've got different people that carry guns that are beside you.
Transport.
You've got transport people. You've got armed jailers. You've got guys in CID. You've got guys in special crimes. You've got guys that are on attack teams. You've got whatever.
Yeah.
And the first one's pretty close. It's not a it's right there.
Yeah.
I go to go to the draw and go for it. I let it eat. I went through my first set, did a quick back change, did the other. Person to the right, running 3 fast. Obviously, everything was all the casings were hitting the person. Person stops midway, kind of as I'm bolstering. That person just absolutely flags all of me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It was like I ended up having, after I qualified with my handgun, I ended up having.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Which it was an eternal battle, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that was.
And we talked about it literally right after that.
Yeah, like it should have just been me and John.
Yeah.
Like, it should have just been me and John out there, and just we're not qualifying. We're just running a gun. That's all we're doing. And I think,
which is now the new policy.
which is now the new policy. Thank
Yeah.
God. Yeah, man. If I hadn't been in some type of therapy at the time, if I hadn't talked to somebody, had some kind of, if I was just me on my own, going through and knowing what I know now, I probably lost it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm glad I had the framework to deal with what I was dealing with. Because I mean, everything comes back.
Yeah.
Everything comes back. Your heart rate's right through the roof. You're sweating. Your speech is slowed down. Like everything is exactly like what you did previously. And this was, like I said, it was October-ish time frame, and I had got my shooting in June. So, I mean, it was pretty heavy that day.
You had an AD on yours too, didn't you? You didn't. But didn't one of the people have an AD?
I think so.
I remember that because I remember getting the call saying, hey, we had to pull him off the line because there was an AD in the middle of the call.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it was. So I'm saying, you got a guy that's involved in the criminals that you don't throw back out there. You don't want to throw back out there. It's not a show.
No.
Let that dude, whatever. Let them finish, get through things. Let them work through that. Do not put them in that spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is now where, one of the things that I'm working on for my doctorate is creating the science behind why we don't put somebody back into that scenario. Right. If soldiers is different. They do their stuff overseas, they get in firefights, they do what they have to do. Because the op tempo is so high, they don't have time to come down. And when they do have time to come down, you're literally BSing or doing something else, or smoking cigars or doing whatever. To now, let's talk about law enforcement. Even taking Hood County, 67,000 people in the county, compared to Fort Worth, which is 1.2, or Dallas County, which is 3.8. Taking the different things and saying, okay, this guy was involved in a shooting. What are they doing for him? Or, like, we have a friend that was involved in a shooting in Johnson County. Okay, what are they doing for that? Okay, well, they went and saw this psychologist. Boom, they're doing really good. A couple of them are coming to me. Taking that different stuff and figuring out what the best course of action. So when we do reintroduce the range, we do reintroduce qualification, that there are no problems, where they're able to function, they're able to go right back up to that op tempo, do what they have to do, come back down.
Sure.
Even our SWAT operators, it all plays into effect.
Absolutely. You expect a guy to get into a shooting, go back on the street, pass that same spot, kill somebody, and not have some kind of reaction to it. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's the same thing with firemen. Fireman drives by the same scene of a fire, of a car accident, whatnot, over and over again. EMS. Our dispatchers hear calls.
Absolutely.
They recognize
Absolutely.
calls on the radio. Like, if I talk to all of our dispatchers, they're all going to say, hey, I know 122's voice. He doesn't even have to say his number. I know his voice. Like, they all know when I key up the radio, if I get on the radio and say, hey, County Charlie 04,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
need this, they know, hey, John doesn't ever ask for anything. Something's not right. Get somebody over there. Like the other day when I was at the hospital and I called and I had, 4 units show up. You don't ever call for. I wasn't even calling for that. I was calling for city. County units showed up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But again, it's just those things of taking it. We're not in a profession at all. My spot, your spot, the sheriff's spot, nothing. None of them are perfect. We're constantly having to shift to adjust to the different environments that we're producing, because law enforcement today is different than it was 3 years ago. It's been different since George Floyd. And then if you look at that, you can go back and trace it all the way to LAPD and Rafael Perez. That right there shifted the way people look at gang tactics. Then you go, oh, let's go to Rodney King. And then you can keep going through history.
Rabbit trail.
Yeah, you can go down and find all these different things.
Absolutely.
We're not talking about being a gate guard at the White House. We're talking about actual law enforcement work.
Actual work.
Yeah.
You're finding stuff.
Yeah, we're not talking about looking at $100 bills and going, oh, this looks counterfeit. No, we're talking about real.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
Real property. It's not. It's not pretty.
No.
It's not a. One moment you're rushing in to help somebody. These are not pretty.
Yep.
And the next minute I'm on a disturbance because a husband and wife can't agree about it. Like just some. Yeah, I mean it's the truth.
It is the truth.
I mean,
100%.
it's and you want me to act the same, like
Yeah.
Or
It doesn't.
or I'm running code to, from Acton, Texas to LGMC, which is right down the road, because I've got a 4-month-old that is in the back of the box and it's dead, and we're trying to get there, And when I get to the hospital, I've got to deal with everything because I'm a supervisor at this point. I'm making sure my guys that are beside me are okay. I'm making sure everybody that's around me is okay. I'm answering phone calls. I've got 57,000 things that I'm doing, and we show up because husband and wife are arguing about whatever. It's hard to be passionate. Man, it's a day in, day out thing. You get numb to it. You get hard really, really quick.
Well, even, talking about the day of the 4-month-old, how many people went on social media and complained that law enforcement, not just our agency, but DPS, we had city, we had other people,
we had every
blocking traffic.
Blocking traffic. We were, from the time that we lit it up in Acton, Texas, to LGMC, which is right down the road, we weren't being nice about it. We were getting everybody out of the way. That's our job, right?
And I was in the next county over doing something.
Hey, dude, I need you. Hurry up!
Get here. And I was rolling code, and I was passing people get there, and it was like, holy crap! But people don't understand it.
We're human.
Yeah.
We're not robots. It's hard for us sometimes. The guys that I serve, they have to do a great job of continuing to keep Same thing. It takes a special person.
Well, I thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having
Yeah.
me. I appreciate it.
The plan was to have George in here, but now George will get his own interview separate from you since he decided to go out and play on his land for a little while.
Must be nice.
I know. Damn child investigators. But
This is what it is.
yeah. But I'm glad you came in. I'm glad we got to sit and have this talk.
Yeah, long time coming.
Did that feel like an hour
No,
to you?
not at all.
Talking?
Not at all.
Yeah. It doesn't. So remember that when you call me and you're like, "Hey, push podcast yet?"
Yeah, I always wondered. I'm like, when is he going to download it?
Yeah.
Listen to it. So,
It is what it
appreciate it.
We'll put code 4 up. Hopefully, stir you up some more business, and
Hope so, man.
Hope
so.
Sarah will, I'm sure, do some AI stuff and get it posted, all that stuff, so that goes. So
Appreciate it.
make it work. Thanks for coming in,
No
brother.
problem, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Well, welcome to part 2. Obviously, that's not Justin. That is George. So tell us a little bit about yourself. This ain't the Sean Ryan show. I don't do bios for everybody. You gotta do it yourself.
Well, crap. Where do I begin? I guess I'll start off the way I did my interview when I got hired on here. First of all, not white.
Wow.
I'm Mexican. Both of my parents are Mexicans, and I just have to come out with blonde hair, blue eyes, and lived my entire life in Texas. Grew up in West Texas, and then migrated over here in August of 2017. Been here almost 9 years. I got a beautiful wife. We have a total of 5 kids, 2 grandbabies, and couldn't be any happier.
How long you been a cop?
All in all, 19 years.
Well, you're a CO first.
I
Department.
Started off actually doing juvenile corrections for 2 years.
Okay.
And then that was from 2006 to 2008. Then I got hired on at the Tom Green County Jail. Worked there for 2.5 years and put myself through the academy during that time. And hit the streets in 2011 and been doing it since then. Work started off in a small department out in West Texas, El Dorado, Texas. Was there for almost 6 years. And came over here. Was on pretty much on the streets my entire time up until about 2020 when I got into CID here. Been working pretty much child crimes since I started my career. And now I'm almost 20 years in and looking to see what holds after I hit my 20.
Okay. So working child crimes, you've seen a lot.
Yes.
And when we're talking child crimes, we're not talking children doing crimes. We're talking adults doing crimes to children.
Yes, physically and sexually abused children. And also emotionally and psychologically abused children. A lot of people have the understanding that abuse is just down to physical and sexual abuse, but they don't realize that there's also the emotional and psychological abuse of children.
Right. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked my little brother. He was on the Marshall Task Force, put sex offenders away that failed to report and stuff like that in Vegas. Why do you do that job?
That is a good question. I guess it pretty much, it's not something that one chooses a career somebody chooses to do. I think it's the career chooses the person.
Good.
When I was in the academy, my instructor, who became my mentor, pretty much explained it that, the majority of the students, cadets in the academy, they all want to go chase dope, get their pictures in the paper, look at my drug bust, all this. Child crimes, there is no glory in it. You don't get your picture in the paper. There's no recognition, but the satisfaction is knowing that you help these children out of that environment and help them be placed in a better environment where they can grow up and be productive of society.
So, with child crimes, you've seen a whole bunch, and you've also dealt with somebody kind of famous who was put away for life for abuse on a child.
Yes.
Warren Jeffs,
Yes.
uh, who committed crimes in Utah, then came down to Texas and committed them here. You talk about that case a little bit, besides what's been seen on the 1,000 documentaries that have been made about Warren Jeff, or anything with that.
Going back to those kids were not only groomed, ended up being sexually abused, but at the same time they were psychologically abused. They were brainwashed to, as infants growing up, they were pretty much molded into, when you hit 13 years old, you're going to be married off to individuals that were already in their 50s and 60s. And
Who already had a couple wives.
yes, and given that the FLDS church believed in multiple wives, their Warren Jeff's interpretation of that was, how many kids can you turn into your wives? And they brainwashed them to not have any trust in law enforcement whatsoever, because obviously he knew that what he was doing was against the law, and he just thought that he would get away with it.
There's a huge connection. We're sitting here and we're talking about this. There's a huge connection between Middle Eastern Muslims and the FLDS Church. Huge connection. In regards to, over there, they believe that women are for reproduction and little kids are for pleasure, which is almost the same concept that Warren Jeffs had with his people there.
Correct.
And what's crazy is the guy's in jail still, not looking at getting out anytime soon. But they were sneaking reporters in so he could record messages to his followers, and they still think that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is the same thing that a lot of the Muslims believe overseas. Which I always tell people, there's two types of Muslims. There's the ones that are overseas and the ones that are here in the States, because they're completely different in their fundamentals. Whereas Mormons and FLDS are completely different.
Correct.
One's southern, one's northern Utah. Right. The way they break it down.
Yes.
And Salt Lake City is northern.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the mainstream Mormon church, they believed in multiple wives, but adults.
Yeah.
Not children.
Not kids.
Warren Jeffs broke off from the mainstream church and decided that the children were now going to be prime for marriage.
Yeah.
Or celestial marriages, as he called it. And it's, people think that you've seen the worst in people.
No.
And then there's somebody that'll come in and just, slap the crap out of you. It's like, yeah, watch this. And, you know, jaws hit the floor. And, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's doing this.
Which is stuff we heard when you and I went to sex trafficking class. Yeah, that was 4 days of learning about different things that they put them through and all that stuff.
And he was actually doing the same thing, removing the kids from it was called Short Creek,
Yep.
Utah, and bringing nothing but the children that were going to be groomed, loading them up on a trailer, bringing them to Texas, not with their parents or anything, just children themselves, and then they would start the grooming process.
What did he call it? What did he call Texas? Not the Promised Land. I can't remember.
The ranch or the compound that they lived in was Yearning for Zion.
Zion. That's what it was.
YMZ.
Yeah. Which is crazy because a lot of them thought, oh, well, they're just going to Zion National Park, which is in Utah.
Yes.
Which, no, they were going a lot further than that. So a lot of those parents didn't know. And a lot of them escaped since then. But
Yes.
a lot of them still believe that.
And if the parents did not agree with what Warren Jeffs was doing, then they were excommunicated, and he still took the kids.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say kids, more children.
Yeah.
And
because we're talking, for people listening, we're talking 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, that age, not 16 and older.
No.
And there were some, but most of them were, 13.
Yes.
Over 13 when they were, taken and married or whatnot, all of that. To me, I think the funniest thing is where he was arrested at, in Reno, in a red shirt, stuff that he had forbid his people from wearing.
Yes.
Red
was not their, not a color. It was forbidden to have anything in the color red. And yes, he was wearing a red shirt, red ball cap in a red Cadillac.
Yeah. Their colors were pastels and all that. They look like Easter eggs.
Yes.
Let's not church it up. They look like Easter eggs.
Yeah, it was a modern day Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah. And
they had a certain hairstyle. The dresses, their attire was
very basic.
Yes.
And what's crazy is if you look at them, but then you look at the Amish. Amish make all their clothes. They do all that stuff. The Amish are actually a little more sound in their color base than the FL district was.
Yes.
Which is crazy. So you leave there and you come to Hood County. What made you come to Hood County?
I have had a buddy of mine that used to work for San Angelo PD.
Okay.
Then he left there and was working in shirts down by San Antonio. And I had a fight with them, but it didn't pan out. He said, hey, talk to my brother. He's up in Hood County. So I ventured over here, got in contact with him. We hit it off pretty good. And he pretty much took me under his wing till, I was able to find a place of my own. But I didn't know what was in store for me going somewhere not knowing anybody, and he was the closest thing that I, to a friend. And of course, his brother and I had known each other when I was working in the jail. He would come in and, I'd book his prisoners in and whatnot. And, we created a friendship. So if he said, hey, talk to my brother, well, that friendship just led over to him. And here I am. I didn't think I would ever, I didn't think I was going to stay here as long as I have. And yeah, I'm not going nowhere now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, things have definitely taken a turn for you since you've been here. Positive.
Yeah.
You went from working patrol, doing that, working nights on patrol. You go to days for a little while too?
I did go to days, probably for about a little over a year.
Okay.
Then they had an opening in CID. I put my name on the list, and given the 6 years that I worked in my first department, whatever I caught, I cleaned.
Well,
So I had a good understanding of what being an investigator was.
Right.
Investigating cases and everything. And like I said, it was just child crimes was the one that I wanted to ended up doing, not because I said, "Oh yeah, that looks like fun. I'm going to go do that." No, it just,
right.
I guess God had a calling and said, "Hey, you're the one to work these cases, so this is what you're going to do." And,
Yeah, he definitely had a calling for you.
oh yes, yes he did. And everybody asks, "How do you do it? How do you do it?" I don't have an answer for it. I just know, hey, God had a plan for me, and He said, "This is the road you need to take," and I've been on that road ever since.
You've had some struggles with that, though.
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Back where my last department, I had some cases, but because of the population that was there, it was few and far in between. Uh, Unlike coming here, where I was exposed to a lot more.
Yeah.
And, people think that Granbury, Texas, wow, it's a small town. Well, we are close to the Metroplex. We are, a lot of those individuals do happen to come over to Granbury and keep doing what they were doing back in the Metroplex.
Well, we also are a hub for people coming from San Antonio, bringing stuff up for C-SPAN and all that, which is, abusive material of kids,
Yes.
unfortunately.
And exposed to, child deaths, which nobody ever wants to deal with, and, all the way up to sex assaults.
Right.
And, there's talked to a lot of the guys at work that, I've tried to get them to at least work a few cases with me, and they just flat out no, give me anything else but that.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't want to do it, that they couldn't do it. It's more the emotional side. I don't trust myself being in somebody who just sexually assaulted or killed their kid.
Yep.
I feel that my sidearm would clear leather, and then I would be on the other side of things.
Right.
So to them, I'm better off over here.
Right. Right. So you were doing these cases for, you've been here, what, 3 years? You and I linked up?
Yes, 3.
Just about 3 years.
Yes.
And somebody tricked you into coming to a reboot course.
Yes. I wouldn't say they tricked me. I'd say more of
They tricked you.
it was. Yeah, I guess they did trick me.
They tricked you. They got coffee.
I was sold on the coffee.
Yeah, George's weakness is coffee.
Yes.
He's all about the coffee.
Have coffee and I will be there. I don't care what it is, as long as you have good coffee, I will be there.
Yep.
And yes, first time you and I linked up, it was, you can look at yourself in the mirror and not see who you really are, what you've become.
Yep.
Until I started going to reboot, and then I just think to myself, oh crap, that's me.
Yeah.
So that is me down to a T. And denial, oh absolutely,
100%.
there was no, but it was one of those that going through the reboot course helped me understand that yes, I have a problem. Yes, there's something not right with me. From what I've seen, from what I've heard, can't unsee, can't unhear.
Nope.
And through that course, it helped me cope with it. And the one thing nobody ever does is talk about it.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things. And better than anybody else, went through the first 12 weeks, nothing. The second 12 weeks, a little bit. Third 12 weeks, and then I started engaging with urban with the program.
To the point of my youngest daughter, still to this day, that wasn't George.
Yeah.
That wasn't George. You two are besties. And she was like, nope, that wasn't George.
Yep.
I don't remember George coming through Reboot. So
it's like, that is not him. That guy was mean. He was angry. He was always just sitting there in the back of the class with his arms crossed. Yeah. And even me telling her, like, no, that was me.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. No one realizes the trauma, what it does to you, especially when you're putting it in boxes and you're closing those boxes and you're just stuffing and stuffing and stuffing and stuffing. And that's what you were doing. You're stuffing.
And I was, that door to that room where I was stuffing everything I was literally putting my shoulder into it to get it to stay shut.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom, then I realized that. It's like, yeah. And I mean, even then, I didn't know that what I was doing until that day.
Yeah.
And that's time for me to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how big and strong, and you've heard me make that, I don't know, that comparison or something when, guys are out on the streets and all hell breaks loose, they're quick to jump on that radio and, send everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody drops what they're doing and they respond.
Yep.
But then when you're fighting those internal battles, nobody wants to pick up the phone.
No.
Make that call. It's like, what's the difference? You're asking for help. Same thing here. You're asking for help.
Right. And that's the problem.
Yes.
No one wants to ask for help. It's the silent, Justin and I talked about it a little bit too, of where in the last 5 years, where things have changed. If you look at the way police departments operate from George Floyd to now, things are completely different. Take George Floyd to Rafael Perez, the LAPD crash officer, things changed from him to Rodney King to, whatever it was before that. There's been specific things that have happened where we have had to change how we process things.
Yes.
And now we're at that point where we realize you can't keep stuffing it. You can't.
No.
You have to ask for help. And breaking that silent stigma is the key.
And looking back now, I always look at my garage fridge, my fridge that I had when I was living by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You want any kind of alcohol, it was in there.
Yeah.
I didn't think nothing about it at the time. I would sit there and just toss them back left and right. I didn't.
Yep.
It wasn't nothing for me to drink a 30-pack and like nothing. To me, I was taking it to the point where it was like a competition.
Yeah.
12-pack didn't last long. 18-pack didn't. So it was a 30-pack every single time.
Yep.
And it was 2 30-packs. And yeah. And
You're always looking for that next.
yes. And never in my mind that I think of it as, I'm right there of being a full-fledged alcoholic. And the scary part, looking at it now, is that I live by myself. So there was nobody there to tell me otherwise. Hey, you might want to talk to someone. There's nobody. Sleep was overrated.
Yep.
You know, if I had 3 or 4 hours, it was good enough for me, and that was at best.
Yep.
I ran on alcohol and caffeine,
Yeah.
and now my fridge is full of water.
And if you look at it too, your life is completely different than it was 3 years ago.
Well, absolutely.
You got involved in a relationship.
Yep.
You got remarried. And things have completely changed for you in regards to that. You sought help for issues, you went down, Justin and I talked about the week we spent down in Mandero,
Mm-hmm.
in the hill country.
Yep.
Going through all that. How, 10 officers sat around from different agencies around the country, never met each other. You two had an advantage. You two knew each other. But how, you guys were able to bond and talk about issues that were affecting you and things.
We knew each other, but we didn't know what
Yeah.
each of us was going through.
Right. We learned that, it's okay to have issues and take that out on a Waffle House waitress,
Oh man, I'll never
forget that. That's not something I would recommend.
No.
It's not part of therapy, but that was one that we all kind of just went, I guess that's, and then he was like, well, I was drunk when I did it. I was like, okay, you should have just left it in.
Yeah.
Left the alcohol part out. But
now I can never unsee a Waffle House.
Yeah, now I can never unsee it. I always go into Waffle House.
Yeah. But
he's completely different now too. He's leading groups and doing things. He's taken the model that we had, in Mandero, and he's using it there. You guys went through our pilot course to what we were doing, and then when we did it in Lubbock, we completely changed it, and then now, after the call and the jump master model has come through to where it's completely different, but it was all because of you guys, the 10 of you sitting there. Hey, this is what we need to focus on. These are the areas that we need to go into to go. So we kind of talked about the healing part, but there had to be a call or multiple calls that got you to that point where it sunk you. That just didn't need you.
Yeah. One thing my mentor told me when going through the academy is, he said, as a child crime investigator, you're always going to fight two battles. One, you're going to fight the criminals, and then a second one, you're going to fight the justice system. The way the calls have affected me is, in a child death, the parent should, reap the consequences because they left their kid unattended and then this happened.
Yeah.
Then it goes through the justice system and they turn around and say, yeah, there's nothing that we can charge them with. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Leaving somebody unattended, especially somebody who has special needs, and that happens.
Yeah.
You might as well leave them out in the highway, busy highway, let them cross the highway,
Like Frogger.
Yeah. And, that's the one that just, it drives a knife through your heart because nothing came of it. They weren't held accountable. And, it's just one of those that, what do you do? What do you do? And it's makes you angry.
Yeah.
And sad at the same time for the child who lost their life. And there's no justice for that child. My kids just stay your ass over here. Stay your ass over here. If you're outside, I'm outside.
Yeah.
if you want to do this, I'm gonna be there, not just, hey, no.
How many of those cases have you had where the parents just didn't show any emotions at all? Because I know we've had a few.
Yeah.
I know we've had some that where there was a lot of emotions from the 4-year-old or the 4-month-old that died. That mom was like, "No, this should not have happened." No, and she had lists and she had everything in line. I was just like, okay, this lady actually cared and loved this baby.
Yeah.
And I know for me that day I learned a valuable lesson that our child adoption system is broken, for one. But the fact we don't even freaking name these kids, we give them a fucking number.
Yeah.
They're not a prisoner.
No.
Why are we giving them a number? Name them. Give them a name. Give them somebody.
Yeah.
And
it sucks, but we're just one, and
yeah,
we can raise all sorts of hell, and
yeah,
where's it gonna go?
nowhere. It's gonna, it's one of those things that we're gonna sit and you and I, or you, me, and the sheriff, or you, me, and are gonna sit and talk and just go, this isn't right.
And where do you go from there?
Yes.
Fortunately, it's always going to be on to the next one, because there's always going to be a next one.
Yeah.
And
you may have 3 or 4 calls backed up.
Yeah. And the fact that parents, the majority of the cases that I've had is children tested positive for methamphetamine, and parents prefer to choose a drug over their kids, so they end up having their rights terminated.
Mm.
But they continue to do drugs.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, do they get charged with it? Yes, absolutely. I have followed through with those, and but they just can't break that chain on the addiction. They prefer meth over their kids.
And the worst part, some of them haven't even tried.
Right.
That's when you look at it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
They haven't tried. Oh yeah, I wanted to, but they haven't taken the step to get the healing.
No.
And yeah,
Now they just give up. They fail.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. I'll never be able to change. I'll never be able to sign your rights over them.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and relinquish your rights and get it out of the way, instead of sitting here spoon feeding me all this shit that, I'm going to change, I'm going to do better.
No, you're not.
So, I always tell them, don't guarantee me anything and don't promise me anything, because I'm the last person you
Right.
want to do that to. It's to yourself.
Right.
If you can't do that for yourself, then that's pretty much
Right.
it. Don't waste our time.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and sign, relinquish your rights and get it over, get it out of the way. You can go on, do your time, come out and keep smoking that. And then they'll end up procreating some more and go through the same cycle again. And just like you said, the adoption process is so hard and difficult, but there's nothing that keeps them from popping out more kids.
I think that if I remember right, and I'm going off memory, but that 4-month-old that we dealt with, he was like number 8. Mom had. And mom was still addicted to.
Yep.
And he had, all kinds of issues.
Yes.
And was starting to do good. And, in reality, is it mercy? It might be. I don't know. That's a decision God has to make. But for us, doing the job doesn't make it easy.
No.
It doesn't make it easy when I have to knock on the door and say, hey, I'm sorry. Little Moses or little, 15557 didn't make it or whatever. The doesn't make it easy.
Death notifications are never easy, and especially when it comes to children.
Yeah.
You know, adults is one thing. Children is.
Well, it really doesn't. It really doesn't make it easy when we have assholes in this county that are constables that take it upon themselves to post pictures of accident scenes, and then you go knock on the door to say, "Hey, I'm sorry, we just got word your son or daughter died," and they're like, "Oh, I saw it on Facebook," and you're like, "Those are the people that should be prosecuted."
And then we're the ones that are getting our ass chewed because what took you so long?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, we're out here working the scene still.
Yeah. I left the scene to come here to tell you that your son or daughter was, passed away.
Just a lot of inconsiderate people that prefer to, oh, if I post this, I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm going to get paid for this.
Yeah.
Good. I hope it goes to your attorney fees. And I hope one day our district attorney wakes up and starts prosecuting every one of these guys. Though I know it's not going to happen. Like, still wish it was. But
Don't hold your breath.
I'm not holding my breath. I learned that a long time ago. So as you've gone through this, what advice would you give a young detective, a young investigator that's coming into it, that doesn't know anything yet, that is like gung-ho, wants to do it, but gets slapped with that first child case?
One of the things is, of course, it's been a while since I went to the academy, but if I was one of the instructors and everything, everybody thinks that, oh, I'm going to look good in a uniform, get to ride a, badass Tahoe with all the toys and gadgets, and I'm going to go out and change the world, bust as many people, drugs. That's all fine and dandy, but when we go out there, we don't go out there to stop cars. Our calls are the worst side of everybody, of humanity.
Yeah.
How can somebody do this to this kid? How can somebody bring a kid into this world and live in a fucking pigsty? And if you're not ready for that, then you might as well just go and go do something else.
Right.
Because this is not going to be for you. I have seen a lot of them that they're under the impression that they're just going to ride around and look good in a car, make their fucking TikTok videos and whatever the fuck, and until they get that first one, and then they realize, yeah, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
You just wasted a lot of money and resource and getting trained for something that, oh shit, well, they never told us this. Yeah, you go through firearms training, defensive driving, defensive tactics, all that shit, but they never, this is what you're going to spend 90% of your career is going into roach-infested, rat-infested homes, so dilapidated that, when I leave houses like that, I basically want to burn my uniform because I'm not bringing that shit into my house.
No, I have a change of clothes in the back of my Kia with, I spray my boots off with Lysol.
Yeah.
Because some of those houses we've gone into.
Yeah, there's no telling what's going to creep up on.
Or, oh. No, you weren't with me. Duck was with me. We went to that house for an older lady had passed away. She wasn't even an older lady. She was a mentally handicapped. She passed away, natural causes or a heart attack. I was okay in the house, saw hoarder cats everywhere, and walked in. I was good, and I was looking at the body. I was like, okay, got to do this, yep. And I just happened to turn, and there was a rat carcass that was a good-sized rat that had been there for months. And the smell got me, and I was, and, the lady from Wiley's was like, hey, you not have any Vicks? And I'm like, no, I just used it on the last call. She's like, here. And I stuffed it up my nose.
My dive instructor said black licorice.
Yeah.
I always carry black licorice because it kills out I don't know what it is about it, but
The problem is I eat it before I ever get to the call.
that's just in case the call is very
Yeah.
bad, which, like I said, the majority of them are. And, it doesn't have to be a death, because even walking into a house where it's full of dog shit, cat shit,
Yeah.
urine, you have that ammonia.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to kill that odor.
no.
I found black licorice.
No, and the fact that you have to spray your boots and all that stuff. I've called Sarah and said, hey, I'll meet you in the garage. I got to strip down, make sure the washing machine's cleaned out. She's
Yeah.
like, and I'll spray my boots off in the garage, and I'll strip butt naked in the garage with the door down, of course.
It would be a good idea to buy stock in Lysol.
Yes.
As much as we use it.
Yeah, I think I've gone through probably 2 cases in the last couple of years.
Yeah. That's one of those that you have to carry.
Yes.
And again, that's something that they don't tell you in the academy. Or going into
Vicks.
Field training.
Yeah.
Me, if I could find a house I know it's now abandoned, but it's still in the same condition that it was when I had a case there.
Yep.
I'd walk them through it. This is what you're going to be dealing with right here.
Maybe we should do that with Dave Eagle's house. With no floor and all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm not up for that.
But, it's the small things. I talked about it with Justin about, training and stuff like that. One thing is the benefit of being a trainer is to teach the younger guys, hey, this is what it's like. This is what you're going to deal with. This is the stuff you're going to have to do. No one told us anything about that.
Nope.
The Lysol, anything like that.
No.
So let's switch. You're also the team lead for the dive team.
Yes.
So people don't know what a dive team does, because you don't just recover bodies. You guys also recover cars and
Vehicles, evidence. You have your recreational divers, which are the ones that like to see the fish out in the ocean. That's all fine and dandy. Us, we're public safety divers. Our diving is completely different. We're in black water, zero visibility. Pretty much you're diving by braille. That's how you'll know where. Oh, tree. Okay, here's something smooth, glass, whatever. Everything's by touch.
because you can't see anything.
You can't see anything. Flashlights are
Useless.
pointless. The only thing good about a flashlight and zero visibility that it at least gives off a certain level of glow. So at least somebody will, oh, I see a shadow, something, that's where they're at. But you can't see.
Right.
Vehicle recoveries, we've recovered those that forget to put the parking brake on or put it in park. Their vehicle goes into drink. We've had one that we pulled out because they splashed it. Didn't realize it was first middle of the night, and they thought it was a road and ended up heading straight into a boat ramp. So he splashes a truck, stolen truck, bails out. So we go and recover that.
We've had suicides.
Suicides, yes. Body
not work
recoveries.
You and I worked the suicide where he thought he was Mario Andretti and tried to, or Evil Knievel, and tried to launch his car.
Yeah, and he lawn darted into the rocks. Had the guy that jumped off a railroad trestle strapped down with steel plates.
Yeah.
But he just never realized that at the beginning, yes, you go down and you stay down at the bottom until your body starts decomposing and the gases build up and you eventually surface. That's how he was found. guns, cell phones, any type of tool used in the commission of a crime that they chunked in the water, river, lake, whatever. We'll go and look for it, bag it underwater, bring it out. You know, this is stuff that recreational divers don't. You know, ours is completely different. We dive in some of the most unsavory places, stagnant bodies of water with decomposing bodies, and biological fluids are covering the surface of that creek. And when you get in there, everything adheres to you.
Yep.
That's why we use dry suits. Completely encapsulates you, so you don't get none of that on your body. And decon after the fact, but still that odor, that smell of
rotten chicken.
yes, and definitely a lot stouter when you have a body decomposing in the water than one that's been out just inside a residence. Guy dies and been there for weeks.
Right.
That smell is it's not so bad. In the water,
Yeah, pretty bad.
it's bad. So yeah, that just adds more to it. Thank God we have never had to go and do a body recovery on a child.
Right.
But you know, and that's one of the things we always try to stress everybody when it comes to summertime. You know, water safety. Even if you're at the edge of the bank, have your kids wear life jackets because they fall in.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to swim. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, we had that in Johnson County
Yes.
last summer.
Yes. 2 kids.
Fell right, literally off the side, but it was what 10 feet deep, 7 feet deep. But they got wrapped in vines and
They got wrapped in fishing line and whatever other that hydrilla grass.
Yeah. drowned.
Yeah.
So
And it was the younger brother. I think it was a small boy went in first, and then the older kid went after him and ended up meeting the same fate as his younger brother.
Yeah.
Or cousin or something.
Yeah, I think it was brother.
But nonetheless, unfortunate. Should have never happened. But that's the thing that just right. They're just right.
Just right there
in the
is
swimming pool.
only takes an inch of water to drown someone.
Yeah.
To drown.
Doesn't take much. But again, nothing happens to them.
Yeah.
Because they think that, they're fine. They're fine. You have to 24/7 watch these kids. And you can't expect them to, because it didn't take much for them to, squirrel, let's go look at this. And that's it. They're gone.
Yeah.
Then you're left with, that anger. I fuck would you leave your kids here?
Yeah.
Why?
So now we've talked about that. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about we talked about it with Justin a little bit, but what's your after being a cop plan? So we know Justin has code 4.
Yeah.
You have something working.
I'm looking at still doing public safety diving, helping out other counties that request public safety divers for vehicle recoveries, water recoveries. Plan on doing that. Now, granted, it's not a paying job because it's public safety.
Yeah.
There's here, I'm going to send you an invoice for helping your deceased family member out of the water. Now, it's not that, but
Yeah.
I've looked at being a dive instructor. I know it's not something we can live off of, but still teach future scuba divers that hey, it's not just about look at the pretty water, but
Yeah.
you know, safety is paramount. Because if you don't respect the water, you're going to end up being a casualty. The
'Cause
divers,
that's expensive. People don't realize how much it costs if you get the bins.
yeah, and you know the divers in what is Maldives, you know, recreational divers, they exceeded the limitations of their experience.
Yep.
Should have never happened, and they're adults.
Yeah.
You know, but after that, I don't know. I told my I was like, I'll probably be a greeter at Walmart or something. I said, I'm pretty much done with law enforcement on that aspect side of it. I'm going to retire and go work at another department.
Yeah.
You know, I've had my fair share, and like I said, 20 years doing child crimes. I think it's time for me to hang it up, walk away, and let somebody else. Now, the shitty thing about it is, it's not like you can find a successor, you know, like, hey, I want you to pick up where I leave off, because nobody wants to.
No one wants to do it.
And, you know, push comes to shove, they'll do it, but do they put their heart into it? That's the other question.
Well, we know they don't because we have that don't put their heart when it comes to doing registration.
Yeah.
We have so many that we can violate. No heart. Just and you and I learned that skill. You know, talking with ICAC task force and all that stuff. We could actively be doing that stuff, but we're not doing it right now.
Yeah.
So, and we have 2 people right now that want to go do that.
And I guess when you've been beaten into the ground a lot by the justice system, you know, you end up losing that drive that you once had. You know, because where's it going to go? No.
Right.
So it gets to the point. What's the point of me doing this job anymore if nobody's going to want to go out and bat for us? Because we're their voice for those against.
So, how frustrating is it when you go to grand jury, and you have all your ducks in a row, and you present a case, and they no bail the person?
So far, knock on wood, I haven't had one, but it's when it goes up to when the attorneys are willing and dealing. You know, well, let's just go ahead and drop the charge. We'll agree to this and agree to that. You know, you're looking for the highest charge. You're always looking for the highest charge.
Right.
It's not always the case, but then when they get slapped on the wrist and they went from a felony to a misdemeanor or something like that,
Right.
I put a lot of time and effort into this case only to get punted.
Right.
You know, that also chips away.
Right.
You know, so you got, like I said, you deal with the criminals and then you deal with the justice system. So, I mean, it's always nice when you hook them up and, you know, at least they took a ride.
Yeah.
Now let's just hope justice system will move forward and say, yeah, no, we're not willing to deal with this.
You present your own cases to grand jury, correct?
Correct.
So, how much effort do you put in when you're speaking a case to grand jury?
It's a case by case, depending on, you know, your simple child endangerment cases where the kid's test positive, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of, one, you have to get medical records.
Right.
How were they exposed to it? Or how did they come in contact with it?
Right.
You know, both sides, parents. Well, I'm the one that smokes it. He's the one that buys it for me, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Or we both do it, but we do it over here, away from the kids, not realizing that it still adheres to your skin and your clothing and everything.
Right.
Then you go love on your kids, you're passing it on to them.
Or you're pregnant and you're doing it, transferring
Yes.
it, which happens.
It does happen, and the shitty thing about that is there's nothing we can do against some others for smoking meth while they're pregnant and then their kid's born.
Is that child endangerment?
Yes, but there is a statute that protects women that even if a woman was pregnant and they decided they're going to jump off the stairs,
Nothing you can do.
no. And it's a statute. I don't remember the penal code on it, but yes, it protects. I wouldn't say protects the women, but it just, you can't charge them for what they're doing. You know, if they're drinking alcohol while they're pregnant and the kid's born with fetal alcohol syndrome, can't do nothing to them.
So
Which I think is
ridiculous.
shitty.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, if it was after the fact, you know, yeah, you might have to jump through a few more hoops, but for the most part, you know, I always end up getting them convicted. So,
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
And sometimes they do turn around and self-correct, and sometimes it ain't happening.
Right.
So, yeah, it's kind of where looking at it now, it's like, man, what am I going to do? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done with it. I'll go do what our last cruise got a job offer to be a dive master for, one of the dive shops there. And I got a job offer. I can always move out here to Roatan and take tourists out to go see the fish.
Hey, well, my cousin retired from the Army. He goes to Key West and works at a dive shop in Key West. He does a month on, a month off.
That's what I told my wife. She's like, well, wherever you go, I go.
Yeah.
She dives too, so of course she likes the recreational side. But she's like, I'm not getting into zero visibility water. That's fine.
People don't understand the zero visibility.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation where I only have, 5 lake dives. The rest of mine are all
Ocean dive.
ocean dives. Wreck diving and rescue diving and stuff like that. So, yeah, the fact that you're in zero visibility trying to feel stuff, people don't understand that you're not talking about a place that is a sand bottom. Yeah, or is a sand bottom. You're literally, you are dealing with muck.
Mud. Fallen trees.
Yeah.
Houses. In some cases, there's still houses down at the bottom. Rocks.
Yeah.
Boulders.
Look at Lake Granbury. It's stump heaven.
Yes.
There's stumps everywhere. How many times have we had bodies get stuck in the stumps and then the gases fill up and they pop? So.
Yeah. It's definitely a hazardous job. It's not where you can see for 200 feet and, oh yeah, we're not going over there because I can see that. Let's go over here where it's
right
over there. You don't know what, once you go below the surface.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, am I on my way down? Am I going to get jabbed up the ass with a stump that's still there? Or am I going to get hung up in fishing line with treble hooks? And
yeah,
that's one of those where, crap, you got to.
Because you might.
Yeah. And you got to start cutting your way out of there and back up to the surface.
That's why you have a dive knife.
Yeah.
Start cutting.
And make sure you're up to date on your tetanus because you will need it.
Yeah, people don't talk about, needing a tetanus shot, all that stuff. So.
Hey, I survived the coronavirus. They're like, how come you never got it? Like, do you not see where we dive at?
Yeah. I think I got it a couple of times and literally the virus got inside me and went, this dude's all messed up. Where all this metal come from? Damn. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Like, nope. Next.
Yeah, exactly. But to watch you grow from where you were 3 years ago to where you are today, an awesome watch.
Oh, yeah. Feel better.
You look better.
Of course, I scared the shit out of my wife when we first started dating and everything. When she told me about the night terrors
Yeah.
that I didn't know I had. Again, I lived by myself for the better part of 12 years. And one until her that she told me is, yeah, you were fist clenched, and I didn't know if I was going to get punched or what. I didn't know what to do. And I just
Smothered your ass with the pillow.
yeah. I'm like, okay, well, that's one way to not get punched. But
Yeah.
again, that was news to me because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was doing that. And, you know, when, and the good thing about her was she started going to the reboot program with me. So she started learning
Yep.
what I was going through, all the traumas that, I was dealing with, the exposure to, the different cases that I've dealt with throughout the years. And uh, she's always now say, hey, how was work? How was that? That sounded like it was bad. You want to talk about it. It's awesome that I can sit down and talk to her, and she's not going to sit there and judge me, or she just listens to me.
Well, you guys are definitely the poster children for armor and intimacy.
Yeah.
So, I won't say you gave me the inspiration to write the book, but you were part of it.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, she's definitely been through, been there for me through and through, and I mean, couldn't ask for anyone else. I think if it was anybody else, they would have probably like, this dude's fucked up. I'm out of this relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no fixing this one, so I'm going on to something better. And hey, can you blame them?
Yeah.
Especially if they don't understand what the job entails.
Right.
Oh, he's a cop. And they just like you because you're a cop. But
are you saying your wife
just on the surface?
Are you saying your wife's a badge bunny?
No, she's not badge bunny. I gave her hell about it, but
yeah. Well, she did buy my wife a badge bunny hunter patch.
Oh yeah, that patch.
Yeah.
Oh, they are bad. They are bad. But
yeah.
no, she's been definitely my solid foundation. And like I said, she is not one to judge me or anything or say, yeah, it's getting out of hand. But hey, let's sit down and talk about it.
Which is good.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of, that's one of the other things that for the new guys that are single coming in, it's like, hey, if this is your career path and, you love it, that's great. Just know that get into a relationship, make sure they fully understand that it's not just driving looking good in a Tahoe, pretty lights and all that.
Yeah.
I said, there's more to it than just what's on the surface.
Which I think our agency does a pretty good job of having mental health services available to them where they can reach out. I get calls all hours of the night from people, and sometimes it's annoying, but it's annoying the fact when they don't reach out.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, we haven't had one of those statistics here.
Yeah.
We've been close, and they've reached out for help, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
So having that makes a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. And that was something that was never part of pretty much any department.
No.
I'm like, yeah, you get into a critical incident. OIS is, oh yeah, you're going home till, we tell you to come back. But
yeah,
that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
You go home.
And we talked about that with, Justin shooting. Uh-oh. Their camera shut off. We talked about it with
Yeah.
But we talked about it with Justin's shooting and, actually coming out to the scene. The other shootings we've had, going to the scenes and working that constantly has done miracles to help us to get people right into counseling. Knowing, hey, the only person I can talk to is John right away.
Yeah.
We know that people are going to text, they're going to call. But every person I talk to is a potential witness. But everything I say to him stays with him.
Yeah.
Doesn't go any further.
Right.
So that part helps too.
Yes.
And honestly, all of our shootings to this point have been clean. So
Yes.
thank God. Knock on.
Not always. But no, it's definitely the trauma is there, and just in so many different ways that people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Even the slightest thing can affect you.
Yeah.
Like we discussed in Reboot about secondary exposures. There are some people that you tell them what you went through, and they're the ones that are more affected than the guy that was there.
Which is, as you bring that up, that's where our dispatchers get it. They get secondhand PTSD, where we had to rewrite the manual for them to cover them because they're hearing it on the radio. They're not physically there, but they're feeling the emotions.
Yes.
Because they know our voices on the radio.
Yes.
They know when they hear shots fired. They know when shit hits the fan. Oh my God, that's so and so. I know they have a wife and kid. We are a family. We're a dysfunctional family, but we are a family. And we all have each other's backs, even though there's times where we may not all get along, but we still have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And we're still there for everybody.
And that's, like I said, they're the ones that go through I can't unhear what I heard.
Yeah.
Anything from hearing the shots fired to helping a little boy do CPR on his mom, walking him through it. That's not easy.
No, it's not. And even, with Justin shooting, it was a wake up calling me to go, okay, I need to go check on dispatch and make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
Because they're dealing with their own stuff and no one's checking on them. So
exactly. I think all in all, it's definitely been great. Now it's helping out the next one that's coming up.
Next generation.
It's like, hey, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to expose you to this, and then you tell me if this is what you want.
With that, is there anybody that you see now that could fill into your role?
No.
And that's, our goal is to always train our replacement.
Yes.
But if there isn't anybody there to train to be your replacement,
they're going to be in a world of hurt.
They're going to be in a world of hurt. They're going to have to find some, and they may find that person that turns to alcohol or turns to prescription drugs or turns to other things.
Or just quits altogether. And
yeah.
It's like, I'm not doing that, or
eats a bullet.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but it happens.
And that was kind of one of the things when I first got my letter in the mail about being eligible for retirement. This was probably 2 years ago. Said, hey, you're eligible for retirement in April of 2027.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I got it in my hands. Find somebody. I got to train somebody and get them. But then I'm asking around, and they're like, fuck you. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Screw you. It's like, I'll quit before I start working child cases.
Yeah.
But it's got to get done. It's like, well, if they say you're going to be the next one to do this, that's when I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Or retiring.
Yeah.
I am not doing it.
And that's a problem.
Yes.
And that's and I don't think that's just our department. I think that's across the board when it comes to child cases.
Yes. And with this generation coming up, that you know, they don't. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just want to do this. I want to do that bullshit.
I want to go be SWAT.
Yeah.
I want to go be a negotiator. I want to.
So that's
I
all.
want to go shoot crimes. Yeah, but there's another part of law enforcement that needs to done.
Yeah.
If we don't protect the kids, no one's going to.
And nobody. Even if those that homicide, how many people actually want to go work homicide?
Not very many.
It's going to entail also working, dealing with kids. Maybe not little kids, but you're going to end up dealing with, juveniles, 13, 14-year-old juveniles that.
Yeah. How old was that kid that we chased? 13?
Yeah. 13.
Capital murder. Pending capital murder charges. He's back in Johnson County, but still pending capital murder charges. He's, could get the death penalty at 13.
Yeah. It's just, nobody wants to mess with it. Hell, even working juvenile cases.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to. Nope.
Yep.
I'll keep doing what I do.
Yeah.
Or I'll just stay in patrol and, I'll handle it till CID shows up and I'm out.
Yeah.
That'll be the extent of me being involved with child crimes.
Yeah.
Hey, I got the call, reported, called CID. They
I'm
took
done.
over. Yeah.
I'm gone.
I'm gonna see if I can save a cat out of a tree or something.
Yeah.
It's saddening that there's nobody that really wants to do that.
Yeah.
But like my wife told me, that's not up to you. Why are you worried about it?
Yeah, you can't fix stupid.
No. I say you retire when you're ready, and that's going to be their shit show to worry about who's going to be working on.
Yep.
You know what? It's bad, but yes.
Yep.
Not my monkey, not my circus.
Exactly.
And I'll help out those that want, hey, what do we do with this? What do we do with that? But
yeah,
they don't want to, their heart's not.
Right.
And if their heart's not in it, then are you?
Exactly.
You can't pick and choose.
No, you cannot.
And some of them will, if I can dodge that call, I would dodge it. Let somebody else pick it up. I don't want to be part of it.
Yep.
I don't know. But I think I definitely got that across my head now. It's not my monkey, not my circus.
Nope.
That's for the higher powers that be to decide, hey, he's really looking at hanging it up, and hell, who knows? If our supervisor says, hey, well, I'm going to assign you to do this now, and they're probably like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Which is exactly what will happen.
I don't know what. Like I said, that's going to be their shit show to deal with, not mine. Once I get my gun and leave,
yep,
that's it.
I don't blame you.
Not reserving, not doing none of that.
I don't blame you.
And I'll go off and swim with the fishes. I'll have do plan on having my little side gig for underwater recovery. Hey, I lost my boat.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll go get your boat prop. Yeah, I'll go look for your $500 prescription sunglasses.
That'd be $100 an hour.
Yeah. I think 125. Maybe up now since everything's going up, but I think 125 is
reasonable. Yeah. You were a dumbass and lost it.
Yeah. And some people are like, I lost $1,000 fishing pole. I need that fishing pole. Where'd you lose it? That's a good question. Somewhere this generator. All right. It's what it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And to them, it's
Okay.
2 hours worth of my time is a lot cheaper than having to go and replace it. So
Well, yeah. You know,
that's probably, that's just a side gig, not anything that's going to, pay the bills or anything. But
you never know. As much stuff is lost in this lake.
I mean, it's extra cash, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But thank you for coming on.
Thanks for
Thanks a
having me.
lot. Yeah, good stuff.
I hope to be back on at some point for something else.
Oh, you will be. Don't worry. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hey, what a great episode. Hey, I know I didn't get to all the questions that we had, but wow, what a great, powerful episode. It is an honor to have these guys here in talking to us. Like I said, next week, Sara will be here. Hey, if you're in the Granbury area next week, our Donkey Therapy Texas Rescue is doing a car show at Lowe's. So if you get an opportunity, come out there. We still have our fundraiser going on GoFundMe to send me to some advanced training for SWAT for negotiators. So if you get time, please check it out. $5, $10, whatever, anything helps. That way we food's covered, all of that fun stuff. Because I do have to take time off of seeing clients to go to these classes. So any little bit helps. Helps us get through. We also have 4 new books that came out about tactical Jenga. So check those out on Amazon. They are available now. Fantastic books. The first 4 of a 9-part series are out. So there's 9 books in total. The first 4 are out. You're going to want to get those 4, start reading them. Yes. First one, Tactical Jenga. The structure's not shaking. The second one, Tactical Jenga, when the call follows you home. The third one, Brotherhood, when Brotherhood fails. And the third one is Hypervigilance. My body didn't get the memo. Oh, great topics. I'm telling you, I had a blast writing them. Some very serious stuff diving into it. But hey, none of this is possible without you, our listeners, whatnot. So we love you guys. We look forward to this week's episode. This week, I think we are talking about the silent culture. We kind of talked about that a little bit today, about culture and whatnot with the guys. But tune in next week. Well, actually, it'll be this week. You'll actually get 2 episodes this week. But we love you guys. We miss you guys. Stay frosty. It is Memorial Day, so I kind of wanted to give you guys just a message, of encouragement. Some people battle today. They have a hard time with today because the point of today is to remember our brothers and sisters. So I wanted to read something to you. I actually did this prayer today. So here it goes. Heavenly Father, today we gather on this Memorial Day with grateful hearts, remembering the men and women who gave their lives in service to this nation. We pause to honor those who stepped into danger so others could live freedom. Lord, remember the Delta operators, the Rangers, the Special Operation Warriors, and all those who carry the weight of the mission with courage and sacrifice. Today we specifically remember Gary Gordon, Randy Shugart, Josh Wheeler, Pat Tillman, Christoph, Flip, Corey, Riley Stevens, Thomas Payne, Tyler Davis. Lord, these men answered the call when others stepped back. They stood in the gap for their brothers, for their nation, for the people they would never meet. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. Father, we pray for the families, the teammates, the brothers, the sisters, and the friends who still carry the pain of loss. Wrap them in your peace and remind them that their lives of their warriors mattered deeply. Strengthen those who continue to serve today in our military, law enforcement, fire service, EMS, dispatch, and special operations community. Lord, we thank you for the protection and the presence of St. Michael, the Archangel, guardian of warriors and defender against darkness. We trust that St. Michael stood beside these men in their final moments and helped carry them home into the loving arms of Jesus Christ. May they now rest in eternal peace where there is no more war, no more pain, and no more suffering. Father, remind us that freedom is never free. Let us never talk lightly the cost paid by others who wore the uniform, carried the burden, and gave everything for others. Help us honor, and not only with ceremonies and flags, but through lives marked by integrity, courage, compassion, and service. And Lord, for those among us still carrying invisible wounds from battle, trauma, grief, loss, bring healing to those hearts and peace to their minds. Remind them they are never alone. Today we honor the fallen. We remember the brothers, the sisters. We give thanks for their sacrifice. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. So if you're struggling today, because it is Memorial Day, and there's people with barbecues and all of that stuff, just remember our brothers and sisters would be barbecuing with us. So as you go out to do things here in Central, it's about 1900 hours. Just remember, say a little prayer, pour a little drink for them. I have mine here just to say thank you for everything you guys have done. We love you all. Stay frosty. And please be safe. If you need help, don't hesitate. Reach out. We love you.